Well, welcome to this video blog for Rhythm Magazine. The guys at Rhythm have been supporters of the World's Greatest Drummer for, this is the 4th year. It's great to have the guys along. It's great to be able to do this and present on screen for you as well as live this evening, the drummers for you. I'm really proud to have a great lineup. You're going to hear a little bit about what they've got to say about the concerts, and I hope you enjoy.
My favourite moment of Buddy has to be meeting him. You know, when I was a very young whippersnapper back in 1983, and he was still at an astonishing level of performance, even in his he was in his like mid-60s then, which, you know, 25, 30 years ago, 60s was considered a kind of you're getting on. Nowadays it kind of doesn't matter, you know. But Buddy was definitely leading the way with a youthful feel about what he was doing, and I, just being 13, 14, walked into the dressing room, you know, abandoned every etiquette that you should have involved in approaching musicians, but wanted to meet this man, you know. And I went in to the dressing room, and he kind of looked up at me, and I just said, "I'm just a big fan, Mr. Rich." And he went, "Yeah, that's okay, but this is my dressing room, you know, it's not my band room." And I apologised and said, I don't suppose there's any chance of a pair of sticks, is there? The inimitable question. And he kind of looked at me and he just said to the tour manager, "Get the kid a pair of sticks." And he gave me, his tour manager gave me the sticks that were actually on the drums that night, which I have in a very special place as a memory.
Well, I got some facts for you today. I actually did a bit of research. My mum, God bless her, like all good mums should, she keeps a diary. It's not an iCal, she hasn't got a Mac, she's got an old-fashioned diary and she writes down everything. And God bless her, I said, well, basically my dad and my uncle took me to see Buddy Rich in Norwich when I was 11 years old. And I just spoke to my mum earlier today and she told me the date. It was like the 14th of March, 1982. There you go, I remembered. It was a Sunday night, and a little 11-year-old aspiring drummer, hello, me, you know, got tickets to go and see Buddy Rich. You know, the great Buddy Rich was in Norwich of all places. So we went along, and we got there kind of early because, you know, at that age you want to meet your heroes and stuff. And we kind of stood outside in the freezing cold, and I said, "Oh, come on, Dad, we best go in. He's not coming or whatever. He's probably in the theatre." And just as we were then walking into the theatre, a cream-coloured Mercedes drew up alongside the theatre to the stage door. So we quickly ran back, and out of the car popped Buddy Rich, and the little 11-year-old aspiring drummer kind of went up and said, "Hi, Buddy, I'm Steve, and I'm really looking forward to it." And he was kind enough to come over and sort of shake my hand and gave me his autograph and wished me well. Like, sort of, my dad told him that I was a young drummer and stuff, and he wished me well. So it was really nice to meet the guy, and obviously seeing the concert was a phenomenal inspiration.
It's sort of gone full circle for me, because when I was about 12, I saw him at 13, and then you get sidetracked, you know, all the rock drummers, and now I'm back round full circle. It's Buddy and all the old guys again, you know. So it's still more shocking. It's more shocking than I remember it. It's better than I thought it was. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Buddy Rich's. I've always loved Buddy Rich's drumming ever since I first started playing. He was one of my idols, and I got to see him quite a few times, which was very fortunate. His energy level and intensity was something to behold, incredible, and his musicianship and drumming ability I've come to appreciate more and more as, you know, as I get older. And it's very interesting going back and listening to Buddy play, and every time I listen to him play, I'm pretty amazed by his virtuosity, but also just really by his musicianship and his choices that he made while playing. And sometimes I'll go a few months without listening, or even a year at some points, but then when I have, especially an event like this, you know, I go back and I listen, and it's like discovering it all over again, but from a new perspective, because my playing has evolved, and my perception of music has changed over the years. As musicians develop, they hear music differently, because you notice different things, and hopefully over the years I noticed things that are more important, where when I was younger I noticed things that were less important, but they seemed important at the time. So, but every time I listen to Buddy Rich, I'm always really knocked out by his playing.
I didn't really kind of understand it when I was younger. I was really sort of into the modern drummers, but now it's, yeah, I understand it.
Yeah, I remember being here in Warwick Arts Centre with Buddy Rich in 1984 when he was over here with the band, and of course it was a great concert, as they all were, and he was being very generous backstage and, you know, making time for all the fans and drummers that would come by to see him. And yeah, so here we are again all these years later, and this time it's my band, although I do have two former members of Buddy Rich's band on the stage with us this evening, which is good. So we are basically on an ongoing quest to make sure this music doesn't die, really, because big band music and big band drumming is so much at the very heart of what made drummers famous in the early days. If you go right back to Gene Krupa and even his predecessors, it's because of Gene and because of guys like Buddy and Louis Bellson and everybody who came on in their wake that the drums are where they are. It was such a defining time for the role of the drummer as part of worldwide music culture, and we owe those great players a huge debt of gratitude. And as I say, I like to stay very close to the source and have an absolutely fabulous band and play all this classic music as well as we possibly can.